All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. It is Christmas in March. Make sure you're wearing some green or some red, anything that reminds you of Christmas today. All right, so for today's lesson, we are working on multiplying decimals. So I'm going to set up my problem. In example number 1, we have 4.3 times 3.1. Alright, so the most important thing to separate from adding and subtracting decimals is that for multiplication, you do not have to line up your decimal. I repeat, you do not have to line up your decimal. So when I am setting up this problem, it really doesn't matter which number I put on top. But let's just follow the same rules that we've been following. Let's put the largest number on top. So let's take 4.3 and write that one on top. So 4.3. And then I'm going to write 3.1. So Ms. Robinson wasn't trying to line this up. It just so happens that we only have 2 numbers for the number at the top and 2 numbers for the number at the bottom. So it just worked out that way. One important thing to remember when you're multiplying with 2 digits, it's like you're doing 2 multiplication problems. We did some examples like this in your PDN. Step 1, we were to write the number with the most digits on top. We've got that. Step 2, we need to determine how many numbers behind our decimals. So what I'm going to do is draw a little arrow. How many numbers do I see behind this decimal here? I only see 1. How many numbers do I see behind this decimal at the bottom? I only see 1. So at the end, all together, that's going to make 2. So when I have my final product, I know that I need to move my decimal 2 spaces. All right, step 3 is to go ahead and multiply. Since this is 2-digit numbers, I know that I'm really doing 2 multiplication problems. So this is my first multiplication problem that I just set up. Now I'm going to do 1 times 3, which is 3. 1 multiplied by 4, which is 4. I am finished with my first multiplication problem, so I can cross this little one out. Goodbye, don't need you. Now I'm going to move on to my second multiplication problem. Since I have a second multiplication problem and I cross this out, we have to call 0 the hero. Yes, Anthony, 0 the hero, your favorite number. Now we're going to multiply 3 to every number at the top. 3 times 3 is going to be 9. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. So I'm going to write 12. All right, now the last and final step is to find the sum of these 2 products. So 3 plus 0 is 3. 4 plus 9 is 13. Bring down your 3. Carry the 1. Now 1 plus 2 is 3. And 1 plus nothing is just 1. Remember what I said before. We have to remember to put our decimal in. We need to move our decimal 2 spaces. Currently, there is no decimal in this number. So what you will do is start from the back and move 2 spaces. A 1 and a 2. Bow. Our final answer, I'm just going to rewrite that so it's nice and neat, is 13.33 hundredths. All right, let's do another example. Just give me a second while I try to turn the page. Okay. So our second example is going to be 4.3 times 3.5. We're going to solve using the same steps. All right? Step 1, we did it again. 2 of these numbers, they both have the same amount of digits, but make sure you put the larger number on top, which is what I did. Step 2 is to determine how many spaces we need to have or how many numbers we have after our decimal. So I'm looking at the first problem. That's our decimal. There's only 1 number behind the decimal, so I'm going to write 1. Let's look at our second number. There's 1 decimal and there's only 1 number behind the decimal, so I'm just going to put 1. So all together, I know when I am finished, I need to move a total of 2 decimal spaces. All right, so now that we know how many decimals we have to make, we are going to do step 3. Step 3 is to actually multiply. We're going to create 2 multiplication problems because this is a 2-digit multiplication. So we're going to do 43 multiplied by 5. We can start by doing 5 times 3, which is 15. Bring down the 5, carry your 1. I'm going to put a plus sign in front of that 1 so I remember that I'm adding. Next, I have 5 times 4. We know that 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 1, that is going to give me 21. So bring down my 1 and the 2. Since I am finished with this first multiplication problem, I'm going to cross out that 5. I do not need it anymore. I'm going to cross out that plus 1 that I did. Once I have my x's and I crossed out, I'm going to call 0 the hero. Alright, so now that I have 0 the hero, the number 3 is now going to be multiplied to every single number on top. So I'm starting with 3 times 3. 3 times 3 gives me 9. Next, I'm going to do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. Notice how I didn't have anything to carry over because there weren't any more numbers over here. So I just brought that 1 down. Let's go ahead and add. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 1 is 10. So bring down your 0. Carry your 1 on top of these 2's. So now I have 1 plus 2, which is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now I have nothing plus 1, which gives you 1. Last and final step, we have to bring in our decimal. Where are your decimal? This number right here tells you to move your decimal 2 times. So start from the back. And I'm going to move 2 times. 1 and 2. Put a decimal in between the 5 and the 0. Our final answer, when we write this over neatly, is going to be 15.05. Wow. Alright guys, as usual, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to Ms. Robinson during her office hours. Alright, see you later.